rain mix as we head into the morning. Just to show you the graph model as we head in, this is around 4 in the morning. Probably going to be more kind of like 5 a.m. as the farther west you are, with a few flurries coming in. You see some snow colors, and then in the pink, that's going to be a mix of that wintry mix, the mixed bag of something frozen as we go on through time here. There is a look at future view graph. Let's go forward into 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And that will take us into mid-morning, where we're still seeing the potential for some frozen stuff. And you're seeing flurries up top, mainly go north of I-20. Collinsworth, I'm just going to... All right, we had a little audio issue out here where things were feeding back. All right, so there's 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, so we're talking about still the possibility of something frozen. As we go forward into 9, 10 o'clock, same thing. North of I-20 is probably the better chance of seeing snow. For this, again, is there going to be accumulation? Are we going to see something on the ground? You know, maybe at least where the sleet is, some freezing rain. We'll have to wait and see, but there could be a little bit of an icing situation as we go toward tomorrow morning. There's mid-morning into lunchtime, and then we'll see if it's still holding around, mainly in our northern counties as we get into early afternoon. And then at some point, the models keep hinting that it's going to change over to rain. The graph's still trying to hold some frozen precip in here, even as we get into tomorrow evening. It's going to depend on if the cold air can hang around long enough to keep things something other than rain. Let's say it that way, okay? And then eventually it'll clear out tomorrow night. And just to show you quickly, the high-res model is kind of on board with this as well, but it's a little bit earlier. There's around 2 a.m. in Upson and Taylor counties, and then as we get into 4 in the morning, now we're looking at somewhere more like the Macon area and surroundings. So as we go forward, you're seeing snow colors. You do see some green, where it's trying to figure out where is this dividing line, where is it something wintry, or is it something that is just regular old rain? But there's a lot of pink shaded area here as we get on into tomorrow morning, more than what this high-res model was showing yesterday. So this kind of covers a good chunk of our area. So I think the possibility is there pretty good that we could see something frozen. Probably the farther north you are, mainly making northward, but we'll see if something is farther south. And again, eventually, maybe a changeover. This is 11 o'clock tomorrow, still possibly something wintry. And then the plan is to get over into rain later in the day. And then, as I mentioned, the question is it going to refreeze as we go into tomorrow night into Saturday morning? We'll see. So the weather impact alert is there. Have 20s for tomorrow morning. Some models showing low 30s, but we're kind of doing the average of 20s, and see how long it stays with that temperature profile. And does it go above freezing? If so, when does it do that? That's the question on that. We're going to go on over to 13 WMAZ Plus. I'm about to jump over there if you'd like to come on. It's on all the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, all that. Bring your questions, and we'll be doing this same format at the top of each hour. Back to programming on 13 WMAZ. Okay, guys, over on 13 WMAZ Plus and YouTube and Facebook and our app and all that, here to answer some of your questions. I'm looking on here. It looks like we got a fair amount of people on here, at least talking. Let's see if there's anything for me yet. When is rain expected in Eastman? Really need to be out there in the morning. Rain or any sort of precip is probably going to be moving in around 5 in the morning, and then as we go past that, just kind of steadying on up. The question is it for freezing or is it not? Any update on Houston, Peach County schools? I don't have an update on that. What? Okay, our newsroom is just telling me in my ear that Peach County is off Friday. Houston will have school, I'm being told. Okay. A lot of questions about Warner Robins. Warner Robins in the same area that could see any of this wintry mix stuff as we go into the early morning hours. Just to show you again, as we look off toward the west, this is the setup, and you can see the snow up top, and then you can see the rain and the green and yellow, and it's that middle part. And that's what has eyes set on us as this all translates toward the east as we go through the overnight hours. And again, this is going into colder temps because we're going into the overnight. So again, if you look at it just sort of latitudinally, is that the word I'm looking for? I think so. You would say, okay, that kind of lines up with our area, but it may even be a little bit farther south in our area as colder air should be in play. All right, so there's the winter weather advisory. Again, the advisory means keep an eye out for the potential of a possible snow, sleet, freezing rain mix. It's not a watch or a warning. And again, with the graph model, and it's been pretty consistent over the past couple of days of showing this widespread for a good chunk of our area. I mean, there are some models that still pull this just out of reach of us, mainly for the Atlanta area and North Georgia. But there is enough model data that's still trying to put something here in our area too. That's the reason why we keep kind of sticking with this weather impact alert. If it was going to start looking like it was mainly to our north and maybe, Atlanta I-20 north, we probably would have pulled back on this some, but it continues, at least a couple of models, one of which the graph and of course the high res short-term model, which comes out every hour. We're still looking at the possibility of this, and there's around 5, 6 in the morning. You do see snow colors in there. That's in the white and purple shade. Once you get into pink, that kind of is where it's trying to figure out, is that snow or is that rain or is it something in between? 7 in the morning, still the same kind of colors, same setup as we get into 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Still seeing some pink on the radar at 10, 11 o'clock. Even toward lunchtime, the possibility is still there. We'll have to see how it actually plays out. Again, a winter storm in the south, very hard to predict. And it doesn't always go to plan as the way the models are showing. It could be a total bust where all we see is cold rain, or it could be something bigger than what it was showing. There's around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, possibilities of still some stuff freezing. It depends on the temperature profile. If we can keep that cold air around, I mean, it sounds obvious, but it's obvious. Then obviously we're going to have something that is frozen. You start to see rain here. So I talked about this last night. We're probably going to get some warm air kind of moving on up as we go through the evening hours here, as that low starts to kind of spin on through. And so that may transition us on over to rain. And then I have some questions after that as we get on into the late night hours. Does this stay as rain? Not here, but once we get into the overnight, let's say after the system clears and moves on through, do we drop down overnight into early Friday morning enough that we would see a refreeze of anything that's on the roadways? That's something we have to kind of wait and see on that. High-res model showing a similar scenario. You do see a lot of snow color in here. There's your rain, there's your mix in pink. Notice how the onset of this at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning is snow if the high-res or HER model is right. There as we go into 5 or 6, the same kind of thing, and then you can see all the pink shaded area back here again. Now this model is actually sort of beefed up or leaned in more into the situation than what it was showing yesterday. Last night when we looked at this, it was kind of, actually it was even probably farther north than that. It was just kind of making northward and all green underneath that. So if you're wanting a winter situation, this model's starting to look a little better for that. Now, when I say better for that, not sure how much snow would be in there, but probably at least a mess. How about that? Some sort of sleet, freezing rain. We don't really want an ice storm out of this, and it has the look of something kind of like that if it verifies out, but it might just end up being some sleet and a couple of pockets that are a little bit slick out there on the roadways and things like that. There's around 8 or 9 in the morning, and then as we go forward from there, it tries to keep it kind of making northward. There's your kind of snow look up here, and then rain down here. As we go into early afternoon, it jumps on board with that changing over to rain thing. So again, if you had rain and you were at 33, 34 degrees, which some models are showing, just close enough to being something, but it should switch over to rain. But again, the question is, once we get into the early morning hours of Saturday, do we get back down to freezing again to have something that also freezes? Let me see if I can find the temperature map here. And this is showing 31, 32. Now this is 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, so obviously that's enough to get it done for something frozen. I'm looking on my sheet here when I was making my forecast earlier. 31 on the graph. Now the GFS has us at 33. 32, 33, so kind of right along the line. Euro at 30. And then some of our blend models at 25, 26. So I kind of tried to split it a little bit, and knowing that some of these models will run warm this time of year, I put a 27 on the board. Let's see, there's 7 in the morning, 34. Now this is just the graph model, that's all this is. You can see a 33, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, 34, 35. See it warming up in South Georgia. That's that low pulling across at the bottom of your screen. 35, 36. And we will see actually a warm up for a little bit here late tomorrow night. As I was telling you, that low is pulling through. So you'll see the green come up in our southern counties, maybe 40s to 50, we'll see. But then immediately as this passes through, the temps start dropping back down again as we go into Saturday morning. But so far that only shows 35 though, so that would not be a refreeze if that's right. But some other models have us around 30 for Saturday morning. So something interesting there on the other way to look at it. Okay, let me get back over to the questions here. Boy, all the Houston County comments. Yeah, I think it's got to be a pretty big deal for Houston County to close. Houston County will announce closure by 10 o'clock tonight, says Kevin. If conditions worsen in the morning, the students will be sent home. I say if it's snowing when Robin's in the morning, turn it over and go back to sleep. Okay, so I don't know if that's an official statement there, Kevin. If anybody from Houston County Schools is watching, if you could chime in on this, that'd be great. Megan, have we heard if Houston County was going to announce by 10 o'clock tonight? I'm not hearing anything on that, so somebody said Crawford closed. Yeah, there's a lot. If you look on the bottom of our screen on air, it's actually the closures may have just ran on the air. We're going to run it at the top of the hours, just like when I cut into. Someone saying Houston will be open tomorrow. Don't know if that's official. But did you hear that a 10 o'clock announcement? Okay, we've been getting some comments in there that they said they would announce by 10. I don't know if that's true. Let's see. Oh, I didn't realize the screen I have popped up has nothing on it. Let me go back to that just to show you the graph model so you can get a look at how this looks as we go through tomorrow morning. The timing is on the timeline up at the top. Again, the white and purple shade is kind of a snow look. It's not exact. And the pink area could be a wintry mix of a snow, sleet, freezing rain. And again, someone saying again, Houston released a statement an hour ago that they will be open. Okay. Well, if we hear anything else from Houston tonight, we'll pass that along to you, but that's the latest word we have. Anything on Bullock County? Ooh, that's getting on down there. Don't know of anything down that way. I think you'll probably be okay. Sandra, let's see. Is this a copy from their website or are you on the board? Houston County School District closely monitoring the weather projections. Based on updates from National Weather Service, we will have school tomorrow. We'll continue to communicate. Okay, well, that's all we know on that. All right, so as we go through time again, as we head into tomorrow morning, I think at least the potential for something frozen. The question is it coming down and it's neat to watch, or does it stick? And the National Weather Service wording over the past couple of days has been little to no accumulation, but there's also been trace accumulation possible. Doesn't take much to get on a roadway or on a power line or a tree limb to start causing some problems. So I still say all the way up until this thing actually goes down tomorrow morning, I could go either way with it. I could see that we could easily have something wintry out of this, But I've also seen over the years that this can end up being a bust and it's just a cold rain. But out of precaution, you just kind of say, well, being on the road is probably not a good idea, just in case. There is 3 or 4 in the morning on the high res again, showing the snow look. And again, this high res model has really started to go more frozen farther south than it was doing last night. You're saying pink all the way down. It doesn't mean that that will turn out to be that. Some of that could be rain farther south. But the fact that it has shifted from green to pink more southwards since I was in here last night is something to note. Either way, as we go through the day, there is a certain point, and all models point to it. The one that hangs on the longest for frozen precip is the graph model. There's some point where we should change over to rain. High-res model keeps it around, making northward the frozen until at least lunchtime. And then there, as we get into the afternoon, kind of a switch over to a very cold rain because the temps tomorrow still look like at their highest, maybe mid-30s. Okay, we're going to be doing this at the top of every hour, so what I'm going to do is we'll cut this one because we're going to be talking a lot tonight. I'm going to go grab a bite to eat, and at 8 o'clock we'll be on primetime TV. We'll do about 4 or 5 minutes there, and then we'll jump back over here to the Plus stream. So we'll see if we have any more questions or anybody has any new information or new model data. We'll talk about all that. That's coming up in a little bit. We'll see you.